minutes of the January 8th meeting.
Approve the minutes of the January 8th meeting.
I will second the motion to approve the minutes.
Motion by Aaron, second by Retha, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Claims and allowances.
Motion to approve the claims and allowances.
I will second the motion to approve the claims and allowances.
Motion by Aaron, second by Retha, all in favor? Aye. Scott, you wanna come on up? I know you're put in a good day, good couple of weeks.
Really don't have a lot. I guess we did submit our community crossings today, so it is turned in. I've got 3 trucks down right now. We're still hunting for help. And we definitely used up a lot of material in our last snow.
What are we looking for? Still looking for truck drivers and mechanic?
This time. We actually did interview somebody today.
Okay,
I had somebody in today. I'll talk to you later about it. I may have a tip on a guy for you.
All right, fix it here.
Still looking for truck drivers and mechanic? It's like deja vu there, Michelle. I
Yeah.
believe I just heard that. So,
This time, I don't have much else.
hey, tell everybody out there they did a wonderful job.
Thank you.
Yes, they did.
Appreciate all the time, and I know they had to give up several weekends, and
Yes, they did. We had some guys that was on a 13-day stretch. I don't got that.
The one that's, leaving, how long does he have left?
A week from this coming Friday will be his last.
All right.
anybody else have anything for Jason? I'm gonna send him home. So if nobody has anything for highway,
I do,
yeah,
live on County Road 550 South,
Please stand up.
live on County Road 550 South,
yeah,
and, you know, I'd like, you know, I'd repaving some roads and stuff, and did a great job there on the True Love Road there, True Love Road. You know, we're on the road right across from there,
Mhm.
and I'm just wondering if we might be put in consideration.
you are on the list
Are we?
Yes.
That's great. I guess
for
so.
chip and seal. It
Yeah,
won't be a
yeah.
pave, but it'll be,
It's a 1 mile stretch, and
yep.
Mhm.
there's like a dozen families there, and, you know, I
Yeah,
appreciate that.
We talked about that last year. We just ran out of money before the end of the year.
Yeah, well, understand that.
But, yep, you are on the list. Anybody else for Scott? Thank you.
Have a good night, Scott.
I'm gonna stay for just a minute.
Okay. Monty,
Don't really have much, just, hoping we don't, get any fires. Joel's got called to one, this afternoon, but it turned out not being too much from what I understand. It was a generator hookup that was having some issues, but, didn't turn out to be anything major. So we're, I think down in Princeton, they lost a big church. This weather's not very fun to fight fires in,
no,
but, otherwise I don't, know anything offhand.
all right. Well, thank you. All right, I've got a sheriff's report here. We couldn't make it in this evening, but, we've got 43 total inmates, 9 from Vigo and 2 DOCs. And then, did we wanna go ahead, since we're on the sheriff, and discuss the
Yes.
making of, we're gonna try to get 2 new positions and some more part-time money? I mean, it was let's see, a dispatcher and another jailer,
Mhm.
and then more part-time money. That'll be Of course, the council will have to, pretty well. That way, so. I guess 2 new positions. Motion for
A motion to add one more jailer and one more dispatcher, and then to find out if we can come up with a little more money for the part-time.
Second.
Motion by Retha, second by Aaron, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those are full-time positions, right?
Yes. Mary.
To have everything written down. I don't speak very well.
All right.
So, first of all, I'd like to welcome the county's newest commissioner, Rita. I wanted to let you know, wish you well.
Thank you, I appreciate that, Mary.
And I would like to thank the commissioners for allowing me a few moments on the agenda this evening. It is important to me to ask my questions publicly to those in attendance, and so that those in attendance and possibly those watching tonight or later will note and hopefully understand the validity of my questions and statements as a taxpayer of Martin County. As per the Commissioner's Resolution 2025-1, I have provided to the auditor a request to be on this agenda and my topic for discussion. I have been attending commissioners' meetings for a few years, haven't been able to make them all. But the last 4 or 5 years, I've been in attendance in meetings involving the purchase of properties and their usage. That is my topic for discussion this evening. I bring up these properties in no particular order. And if I make any misstatements about cost or usage, I would hope to be corrected. So it appears to me like some of this is old business that is unresolved, at least to me publicly. So the first property I'd like to talk to you about is the empty lot beside the recycling building here in Shoals. It's next to the Tranter House. I was not coming to meetings, I don't think, when that lot was purchased. So does anyone remember the cost of the lot and the thought about its usage? I know it's been vacant for a long time, and that property would have been taken from the tax roll. So if we are not going to use it, why would it not be for sale? This is that vacant lot next to Tranter's, the old Tranter
In front
house.
of Cecil's?
Yes.
That come along with the recycling building, correct?
I'm
It did, yes.
pretty sure that that was all purchased at the same time by
Yeah, Martin County,
recycling.
we got it from the Martin County Recycling,
Okay,
that lot, we didn't purchase that from an individual.
okay,
That
all
was
right.
all part of it. It was not originally in it, but then we thought, well, if we ever end up needing to build an annex building or something, right there's our lot, right off Blacktop.
Okay. So
And that was in with that price, I don't know if you remember, Mary, but we did some insurance. We paid their insurance for a while, and I think,
That was my next building,
They were
yes.
paid, waiting
Yeah.
for them to pay us back.
yeah,
All
and it
right.
all come in 70,
Seven.
62,000, I believe.
and then some forgiven debt.
Okay, and I thought that was close to.
I'm pretty sure that's
$100,000.
where we was at on that.
Okay, all right, so the
And that
next,
was not out of taxpayer money. That was out of a, Native American grant that we had received from,
Yeah, we were actually reached out to by
yes,
the state, I wanna say.
they gave us 2 years at 50,000, and,
Okay.
that's where that money come from. It wasn't out of the general fund or,
okay, all right. So that was my next question, the Martin County Recycling Building here in Shoals. My statement is that you purchased the property, which the commissioners did purchase the property from the recycling center. And I thought with the forgiven debt, plus the money that was paid to the recycling center. That was maybe $100,000. Am I pretty close?
92, something like that, maybe.
I think you're
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, and it was to help them reduce some debt. But I have not heard or recall any discussion about usage, only scuttlebutt. So I was advised that it is storing desks and old records from the old courthouse, now the county museum. And this property, I assume, and you did confirm, was not on the tax roll. So what further usage? Has there been any discussion about further usage? Because $100,000 is pretty expensive to store some desks and boxes.
Well, we really haven't got a solid plan on it now. We were wanting to remodel it and put in, community corrections, move them from the rented building over at Lagodi perhaps, and, maybe probation. But I mean, we're not wanting to raise taxes, we're not wanting to get a bond, so I mean, we're just trying to save a little money here where we can, so we can do the remodel. That's where we're at on it.
And after our Board of Finance meeting, I think we're going in the right direction as far as making money. I mean,
Oh, yeah, I was here. Yeah, I was here for that. I think Wanda's done a good job.
yeah.
So again, that is just a building that I had not heard any specifics about. So the next property is the old National Bank building. Again, now, this information that I'm going to say might not be correct. So again, if it is not, you can let me know. I believe that we paid $386,000 for this building, scuttlebutt again, unless you can confirm. And I heard that this was a joint decision by the commissioners and the county council to purchase this property. Can you comment or let taxpayers know again the reason for this purchase? To my knowledge, there has been no definitive use stated, at least publicly decided upon for this purchase. Plus it took thousands of dollars off the tax roll.
Personally, I'd like to see the prosecutor over there. Just cause that building, I mean, they had water pouring in it a couple weeks ago. We had to go buy a dehumidifier. And, the building that the surveyor and the prosecutor's in is just in terrible shape. I mean, I wouldn't.
But again, we have to do remodel. and-
Which is going to be more money.
Yes,
And I do not remember when in 2024 that purchase was done, what month, I don't,
maybe June, July.
okay.
Thought it was later than that.
Again, I just haven't heard anything publicly, at least about, what you're going to do, and I appreciate that.
And, okay, and also, we have been, a couple of council members are still reaching out to, potential banks to see if they'd wanna come in and set up shop in there for a year or two, 3 maybe. They have discussed that. We told them
Okay.
to move forward with it, cause other people had mentioned that there was banks interested, but nobody ever come forward, so. 2 of our council members said they would go out and I guess they know some people in the banking business and
Okay. Okay. So there really hasn't been any decision made about that.
we're gonna remodel it eventually. I don't know if it'll be in my time here, but I mean, and, move, hopefully the prosecutor and surveyor, some offices in there. I mean, that was
Okay,
right here at the courthouse. I mean, it's really hard to let that get away.
okay,
And I think the bridge issue, I mean, I think there was a misunderstanding of money that it was done in maybe 2018 or something, or approved and on Brickyard Road, and I think there was just so basically we had to come up with quite a bit of money to use it on the bridge, and I think
so this was just a part of that. That purchase was a part of that.
I think, my understanding, I think we were gonna try to use, like, the money we thought we had, we were gonna try to use to maybe remodel a little bit of that bank, but then
we had 700,000 we had to put in our portion of a federal aid bridge project, so.
I remember, yeah, I was
Yeah.
here, I heard
So
that.
that sort of dips into our funds for any remodel. I mean, that's why everything's sort of slowed on the back burner.
Okay, all right, the next, property would be, there's a lot over in West Shoals on Capitol Avenue, it's between the jail and the church over there. This is the amount I'm not sure about. Was that a $21,000 purchase for a lot?
it sounds,
Is that where the garden is? Where the
Yeah,
sheriff's department operated the garden?
yes,
I didn't think it was that much.
I didn't think it was that high either.
I thought we got it down to about 14.5,
I was thinking
something like
12 or
that maybe.
something.
okay, that's why I was asking.
But not 2021 was the original asking price.
Okay,
And then that was former sheriff and him they negotiated for a few years before we ever come to buy that.
okay. So what are we gonna use it for? It's a pretty expensive garden.
I don't think they put a garden out this year, to my knowledge, but
So is there any idea what you would use it for? Just asking,
good question.
cause that's a pretty expensive spot for a garden. So I didn't know what the original purpose was, for the purchase. I don't recall hearing what that was. It's a lot of money for a lot that's just going to sit there. And so my last question about that, was that lot surveyed before you bought it? Does
Yes.
anyone know? It was. Okay, thank you. And this brings me to my last property I'd like to talk about. There has been, made mention in a commissioner's meeting about improper usage by a non-owner of a vacant lot in Burn City.
It's not a vacant lot. We
What's
own
There's not a building or anything on
it.
it.
No.
Okay. So I don't know how long that this has been a county-owned property, apparently a long time.
I have no idea.
Yeah, so I don't know how long it's been a county-owned property. I guess this is gonna be more of a statement about this property, okay? I don't know how long this has been a county-owned property, but there was a discussion about getting a survey of property because of the issues that are going on up there. So again, this is more a statement than a question, I guess. Was there a survey before that purchase?
Mary, I don't know that when we got that property.
If I may, I believe that property was received by the county, by a tax certificate. Unpaid taxes, nobody would buy it at the tax sale, so it became the property of the county, and the county commissioners, and that's how that little tract came into the hands of the county. The date, I couldn't tell you, Mary, we'd have to do a lot of digging to find.
I've just heard about problems, up there, but never have heard about how long.
Actually, we cleaned it up a few years back and gravelled it so we could park our equipment up there when we're up there mowing or grading or whatever we're doing, and then it's just got one landowner's thinking he can just keep moving and cringing over, and that's why we wanted to get it surveyed, so then we definitely know where his line is on it, cause I'm sure we probably put a little gravel on the lot that he owns, but I mean, that's because we didn't know where to stop.
Okay, all right. Well, I just didn't, since
There's a lot of properties that we own as a county that we didn't buy. I mean, just little portions here and there.
Okay,
I think even we own a little something up here across from the Judd Road. Just a little slither of ground,
okay,
Forget about that.
all right.
but that's how it came about, was through a tax sale. Nobody wanted it, so,
Such small tracts that.
yeah.
Okay. Well, the reason these are just properties that come to mind, the last a few years that I've been coming, to meetings, and there hasn't been a resolution, at least maybe there's talk among you privately and maybe with the council, but, especially the bank building, that was thousands of dollars that was taken off of, the tax roll. And I know that there was, good news from Rhonda, at the Board of Finance meeting. But I was just, wondering about that, and, so I do understand the need for, a survey now. So I do appreciate your time, and, I know that you won't mind if maybe sometime in the future I come back with maybe some more questions about these things,
Not at all.
all right? Publicly, all right? Thank you very much.
Thanks, Mary.
Thank you, Mary. Alrighty,
Going back to Mary real quick, when they're talking about putting up a building over there at one time, when
yes,
Travis was,
I don't remember what kind of building it was gonna be though. Mary,
It was the same thing. You know, you were talking about over here by the Tranter, the lot by the Tranter property. There was also some discussion about having community corrections and,
that's what I remember.
community corrections and building a building and maybe a work release.
work release housing, wasn't it?
Well, I think so. And maybe even the prosecutor there, but I don't think that you can have community corrections and a prosecutor in the same building. So I think that that's why,
I'd say it wouldn't be recommended.
right? But so, no, there was talk about it there, community corrections there, and then as you just spoke, community corrections and maybe some other, county office in this lot over here.
Probation possibly, but we're,
Okay.
Thank you.
thank you. Jason McCoy. What do you got?
So first off, Paul, I'd like to express my gratitude to you for coming over and joining our meeting, the Property Rights Alliance, 2 weeks ago. in
Absolutely.
Jasper, I know it's after hours and late, so thank you for coming over and doing that. Appreciate it.
That's not a problem.
Aretha, thank you, Commissioner Warner, for your mentioning that you try to make it to one
Yes,
too. I really appreciate that. Our next one is day after tomorrow at 6 PM at the Schnitz, for anybody who can make it. So I'm here to talk about the meeting that we had in Lagodi, at Monty Gregory's behest, that involved Joe Lannon, the mayor, Mike Engelman, our city council president, and the Bodice Boys. And the topic of that meeting was to determine whether or not the city and the county wants Joe to write another letter like he did 2.5 years ago, lining out your guys' position on the Mid-States Corridor. I'm gonna leave these copies for you guys. I know you have them, probably, but I'll leave these copies with you. The letter that Joe wrote on behalf of the collective of legislative and executive governing bodies of Martin County was on June 22nd, 2 years ago, 2022. And it came on the heels of the Lockmuir Group, announcing that they were gonna come through Martin County with their road. And it's got everybody's signatures on it. It's got all the commissioners and the Martin County Council, City of Lagodi, and Noel Hardy's signatures on it. And when you read this letter, you know, Joe's pretty eloquent. Joe put together one heck of a letter here. When you read this letter, when I read it, I had to read it over a couple of times before I realized just how dangerous the letter was. when you read it over a couple times and you read through the lines, and now with the benefit of hindsight, having spoken to Joe directly about it, having spoken to the Matthias boys directly about it, and having truly gotten to the bottom of what its intention was, we know now set Martin County back, quite a bit with regard to this road issue for anyone who's opposed to the road. That was evidenced by my direct conversation with Mark Messmer last summer. We had lunch in Jasper and he said, well, no, I thought, and I'm paraphrasing here from 10 months ago, but no, I thought we were good for Martin County. I didn't think anybody was gonna give us any guff over there. Well, Mark, why would you think that? Well, your representative over there, wrote the letter, everybody signed it, and it's basically, we're willing to play ball if you give us a seat at the table. And that's kind of what this letter says here, but again, in hindsight, we know now that the impetus of this letter came directly from the Matthias boys not wanting to go through their farm, and Joe wanting it to come around to a property he thought he was gonna end up with. It was mom and his sister, and that's what we know now. And, thank goodness we were able to kind of stave off all the bleeding and the trouble that caused and try to get back on track. But it looks like as of last week, now we're circling back around to this again, and the Mott Ice boys are being asking Joe to write another letter. And so my concern, I guess what I would want to say to you guys is that, there's 10,000 of us in this county. There's 10,000 people in Martin County. And so I would ask that you guys, please be very, very conscientious when you're reading and certainly signing a letter like this that represents all of Martin County, or that purports to represent all of Martin County. When this letter really didn't do that, his original letter just represented a couple people. So,
Actually, we had a meeting last week, a redevelopment, and we discussed it, and we wanted to state that we want no new terrain roads.
yeah, I know that's always been your position, and that's always been my position too. One of the confusing things that I've tried to explain to, the Mott Ice boys, for instance, is that, and finally the Lockmuller group through Jason DuPont and David Goffinette, finally at one of our meetings that Monty Gregory hosted last fall, they finally did actually come out and say, yeah, no, we don't have any negotiating power with you guys at all. We're hell-bent on doing the road the way we laid out. We don't have the authority to bring it through the middle of Martin County. We don't have, and that's been confirmed by people who actually know, we don't have the authority to work a deal with any of you guys, right? The tier 1 study put it through the west side of Lagodi, and that's what we're shooting for. We can't, unless we go all the way back $22 million ago, we can't negotiate with you guys. The only thing we can do is continue to push it through in the way we see it. So this side plan, or this hope that maybe the Mott Ices through Joe and leveraging our governing body here can get some deal where it's not possible. It's a waste of our resources, and it makes me nervous. And it causes the work that the rest of us are doing, and it undermines it. And I just want to make sure that you guys, if you get another one of these letters like this, please give it careful consideration. The original letter he wrote, the second and third time I read it, and especially with the hindsight that I have now talking to everybody about it, is not what it appeared to be on its face. So.
The only way I'll sign another letter if it says no new terrain road.
Well, I know you have stated that, and I appreciate that. That's, where I'm at too. So I'll yield my time to whoever else.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mike, Marvin.
Well, I just wanna add a little bit to what Jason was talking about, and, I live directly in the path of the Mid-States corridor. As a matter of fact, it goes right over my house. So, naturally, I'm adamantly opposed to it. You know, I'm kinda Johnny come lately to this thing. I've gone to some of the meetings, but I'm wanting to get a little bit more active in this, alliance down there and I was gonna talk to him about maybe, you know, getting the plat book, and I wanna find all the landowners, you know, and homeowners, and, you know, and try to maybe put together a petition, and, you know, against the new train highway, and maybe possibly, you know, that if the alliance, you know, goes along with it, you know, and, you know, maybe bring something like that to y'all, you know, and to maybe for signature. I'm gonna go one step further. I was at that meeting too, you know, and, you know, I kinda wondered maybe Martin County might even want to, donate a little bit to the, you know, cause, you know, if they stop it in DuBois County, you know, it's a moot point in Martin County, you know, and, I think they put together a pretty good group down there, and they stand a chance of doing that. You know, it takes money, but there's nobody on the alliance who makes any money off this, right, except for the attorney. You know, it's, but I think it would be a pretty good investment, you know, for Martin County wanted to donate, you know, $2,000 to it. I think it'd be a great idea, you know. I'd be in favor of something like that. But, you know, that's main, I'm just here, you know, to voice my opinion on the whole thing, and maybe I'll be back, right? That's all I got.
Thank you, Mike. Teresa Kendall.
Hi,
Right.
my name is Teresa Kendall and I live in Jasper. And I am a part of the Property Rights Alliance. I'm actually the vice chairperson of the organization. And Jason and several others had expressed to me, and all of us in DuBois County, that there are obviously some people that, you know, want to try to get their opinions heard and their, you know, their feelings about the Mid-States Corridor. So several of us, we have 5 people, including myself, from DuBois County here, and you guys will raise your hands and wave at everybody. We just want to make sure that, you know, that DuBois County understands that this road isn't just about us, it's about you guys too. If we can stop it in DuBois County, you guys are okay. Probably about a year ago, there was an article in the Indianapolis Business Journal. And it's a lot of, you know, people that do a lot of, just a group of people that talk about investments in Indiana. And at the time, there was a gentleman who was the head of DuBois Strong, which is their county, what do they call it? Chamber of Commerce, like the county chamber of commerce, sorry. And he had this audio interview with a reporter. It was talking about the Mid-States Corridor, and he said, you know, we were all talking about this in our group, and it was an exclusive group of very wealthy businessmen who happened to include, unfortunately, now Governor of Indiana, Mike Braun, and several other extremely wealthy people in DuBois County. They were talking about building this road, and so the guy who's the head of the County Chamber of Commerce said, as we were having this discussion, we decided it had to go through Martin County. Now, as far as I know, nobody in Martin County votes for any officer of any kind in DuBois County, and DuBois County business people really don't have any right to invade Martin County. So just a couple of things that I feel like, you know, we have a lot of things in common in our belief about this road up here. But we also want you to know that as DuBois County residents, we feel like we are fighting this with you and for you, because we don't want your land taken any more than we want our land taken. We don't want this road to destroy the beauty and everything about Martin County. Just a couple of things to remember if you ever come across people that want to know about this. If you look, just some real simple data. I-69, I know it's not the Mid-States Corridor, but you know, the Mid-States Corridor is the baby of I-69. So when you look at I-69, it got through the Bloomington, and about 2000, I think it was about 2002, David Graham in Daviess County went to his buddy Mitch Daniels and said, we need to get I-69 through from Bloomington to Evansville. And he really pushed that. And his words were, in about 2004, that Washington would double their population. That there would be, probably at least 24 businesses that came to Washington, that Petersburg would prosper and it would, increase its population, all from I-69. So if you go back to when I-69 opened or it was around 2010, completely, going at least down to Washington. Washington had a population of 12,500. So in 2024, they have a population of 11,794. They've not gained any population. Petersburg, 2,300, they've gone down to 2,200. They've lost roughly about 150 people in their town. You come over to 231, you look at the 231 has basically the early version of the Mid-States Corridor that comes up through Spencer County. So it goes down to the bridge that takes you over to Owensboro, that goes across the bridge there. That 231, when they fixed that up, they diverted around Rockport. Rockport has lost 300 people since that road has existed. It's a tiny town, 2,270 people. It's gone down to 1,970. So they've, lost over 300 people. And the smaller towns along there inside that, like Santa Claus and Christie and all that in Spencer County, they've all lost population. Lagodi in 2010 had a population of around 2,700. I show here in 2024, we have a population of about 3,000 in Lagodi. Same thing with Jasper. I'm talking about towns that have no highway, a super highway of any kind with any connectivity, as they keep saying. Jasper has increased population. As a matter of fact, DuBois County was the only county to increase in the 2020 census in the state of Indiana. Besides Marion County, they had a small increase. DuBois County increased, again, with no major 2-lane highway or 4-lane highway. Lagodi increased population. You can also go on to the disasters, things have happened when you have a road a major highway that comes through any type of a rural area and it goes through a town. The town nearby dies. Rockport has died. I don't know if anybody goes to Rockport, it's pretty far from here. But if you go through Rockport, it used to be kind of a nice little place and it's completely deserted. So what always happens when you have a major highway, and there are dozens and dozens of studies, when you have a major highway that goes around any type of municipality, your town's gonna die. Because with this road, and I'm sure you know that when this road comes around Lagodi, whether it goes to the east or the west, it's gonna kill Lagodi. It's gonna cut off Shoals and Lagodi. They're not gonna be able to, I know there will be ways to get past to each other, but it will just cut it off. No one will take the time to come into Lagodi or Shoals off that road, because if they keep going, they're gonna end up in Bloomington. So it doesn't matter to them. They will just keep on going. Because once you get on that highway, you got another 40 minutes, you're in Bloomington. So I'm sure you're all really aware of all of these things. But one of the things I want to let you know, that the people in DuBois County, we have a very strong alliance. We have a very strong organization to fight this. We do try to raise money to help pay for an attorney that will advise us and stand up for us and let the Lockmuller Group, who's trying to do surveys in DuBois County, that they're gonna have to get a court order to come onto our land. You guys are probably another 5 years away from that, I would say, maybe, 3 at the earliest. But I do want you to know that the Property Alliance Group is Property Rights Alliance. We stand firm for protecting Martin County too. We would not feel great if, for some reason, somehow they went around DuBois County and they came through Martin County, because we're in this together. And frankly, I'm a little upset that DuBois County has tried to invade Martin County. I don't think it's right. So, I appreciate your time and I appreciate you listening to me, but, we do intend to fight for the rights of property owners in Martin County as well as DuBois County.
Thank you.
Thank you.
David Pund.
Start by thanking you for your time. I'm a farmer. I've worked in the farm business for almost my whole life. I will lose if the new terrain comes through, a minimum of 10 acres, possibly 20, my house, my grain bin, my 2 machine sheds. Don't know yet to this point. And from listening to what you guys said, that you're not really interested in new terrain, probably a lot of what I'm gonna say here, you already understand that, you know, the tax implications, you know, from once it's paved, it's off your tax rolls. You don't get money from that anymore. Farmers, the income they're making, that's not gonna be there anymore. They're gonna lose income. Any business that supports agriculture, same way, there's gonna be a loss. And, there's other things, the environmental effects. This is all things that I'm sure you understand. One thing a lot of people don't think a lot about, I think, is access that you lose. You go down to Rockport, where you got these, they've cut off all the county roads, so, okay, it used to be a mile, now it's 10 miles to church. And they're talking about how this is going to save 5 minutes to get to Bloomington. These people are gonna spend 10 minutes every day going to just the places they go to. And, the safety aspect that has been talked about a little bit, you know, that in Dale, for instance, there were so many accidents on this new terrain that they put in a J-turn. I don't know if you know what a J-turn is. Where it makes you zigzag, you cross one lane, go down a parallel to the lane, come back up and off, you know. And even since the J-turns, I think there's been 5 fatalities, people crossing where there aren't J-turns, so safety is something that isn't in their mindset, I think. Something that you need to consider what it does to school buses. I mean, kids crossing that road every day in a school bus. Things that new terrain option's gonna bring that you probably don't want, but again, I think you all understand that already from not wanting the new option. And, of course, fire departments, emergency vehicles, all that. Basically, one, we already have a study that was done in 2021 that was an upgrade of 231 as it is, passing lanes we used coming up here today. They're wonderful. It does the job. You don't need a new terrain. Better intersections, that does the job. You don't need a new terrain. That project would have cost like 75 million rather than the 2 to 3 billion this new one costs. And then loss of income, loss of taxes. That's what I'm saying. Like I said, think you all understand that already.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Kurt Nykum?
Give my time up, Dave Pond pretty well covered basics of what I was willing to express. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? I know your name might not be on there, but
There was one very important thing that I meant to say at the start of my speech and I forgot about it. I don't know how. Trump. That's all I have. I wanted to start off with that, because I'm still feeling real good and warm and fuzzy. I wanted to share that with the group. Thank you.
thank you.
Well, I'm not. I've been painting my nails blue.
I thought that was because you was coming to show. Alrighty, well, thank you, guys. No, I did go down to the meeting, that'd be 2 weeks ago,
Yeah.
Thursday, and very impressed, very impressed. I won't be able to make it this week. My wife's got another meeting already, but we'll be back in a couple of weeks down there again, absolutely. Hopefully. I think Monty might try to make it down there and
I'd grab you better.
Still threatening again.
no, let's move on real quick. Alrighty. Guys, if you don't wanna stick around for the rest of this, you don't have to, but you're more than welcome to.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anytime you wanna come back with any info, anything, you're more than welcome.
Thank you, guys.
Alrighty, David, what have you got for us?
Health Department, wants to, set up a credit card system. The same system as my understanding is what the auditor's office uses. I looked over the agreement, have no legal objections to it I think the board of commissioners would have to approve them doing that, so.
They have the money for this machine, or where does that,
Doesn't cost any money.
oh,
It just costs the card.
Use it.
Yeah, the card user.
oh,
Yeah,
okay,
here,
yeah.
it's in your packet, it's this page. Yeah, our office has the 3%, use, it looks like, 2.5 in this contract. That's charged to the customer. Yeah, I know.
Well, guys, do we have any problem with them having the credit card machine for the health department?
I'll make motion for the health department to get a credit card machine.
I will second that.
Motion by Aaron. Second by Retha. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next I have community corrections is has reached an agreement with Davies Community Hospital for substitute of repair recovery services in Davies and Martin County. And it would be useful for community corrections with the home detention and adult work release that they were using, and well, not so much work release, but community service and day supervision. And they have prepared a memorandum of understanding between the two organizations. Davies Hospital will provide mobile support for persons with substance misuse, and they will be overseen by the community by Davies Community Hospital. Will be, hey, Monty, hey, will you call me more, please? Promise. Okay, thanks. So, again, Danielle's gone over this. She wants to do this. She recommends to do it, and they have prepared it as a memorandum of understanding between the hospital and community corrections. But it is my belief that that also has to be approved by the board of commissioners. And so I've got this ready for you to do.
Just one question. So does this, are we still with the Samaritan Center? Is that something separate?
That'd be something separate.
Okay.
This is specific, substance abuse, services provided to those clients of community corrections.
Okay.
There is no cost, to the community corrections for this. Davies Community Hospital has, received grant funding, and they're gonna be utilizing that for provision of these services.
Do you have any objections to this, or?
No, sounds like a good thing.
So if not, David,
Page
you wanna
3
pass
is the
that?
place for Paul and,
Thank you, sir.
Michelle to sign.
You wanna make a motion on that, somebody? To approve?
Make a motion for the community corrections to go into
Memorandum of understanding.
memorandum of understanding with the Davis County Hospital Peer Recovery Services.
I will second that.
All right, motion by Aaron, second by Retha, all in favor? Aye. There you go, David.
I don't want to steal Michelle's. Jeannie.
Go ahead.
They have it's been discussed about, professional services with FSG with regard to, financials and budgeting, for the year 2025. The council indicates that they want to approve that. That agreement has to be approved and signed off on by the Board of Commissioners. I've looked at it, it's the same agreement as has been operated under for the last 2 years at least. So I have,
Well, that was my only question, whether the council is in favor of it, so I mean, that's.
I have been so advised.
I've been thinking
Michelle,
them
you have
very
been also, so yes.
beneficial to Michelle's office.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, I greatly appreciate them and appreciate the council approving and commissioners hopefully approving that.
Make a motion to approve, FSG Financial Services Group. Go to contract with, Martin County for 1 more year,
I will second that.
Motion by Aaron,
not to exceed
second by Retha.
25,000.
20. So I need to say not to exceed
Yeah.
not to exceed $25,000.
That was my question.
Mhm.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. David?
SRI has approached Michelle regarding, doing a tax sale certificate or tax sale certificate, sale for various tracks, as we talked about with Mary before. They've listed 6 different little tracks of, real estate that have never been able to sell at tax sales. One is 13 hundredths of an acre, another is 32 hundredths of an acre, 1700 of an acre, 45 hundredths of an acre, 38 hundredths of an acre, and 67 hundredths of an acre. Again, these are just little bitty tracks that have never been able to, engender any kind of interest at tax sales from anybody, so. SRI is asking if the Board of Commissioners wants to direct them and the auditor's office to, pursue this sale and see if anybody'd like to buy these little pieces of,
It always surprises me that no landowner that joins them would be interested, and even though it's just, I mean, it's basically nothing, but I mean, it'd still be,
I understand, but
yeah.
I cannot tell you how long these have been listed. Do you know, Michelle?
No, I don't.
Some of the landowners might not
Mary?
even know.
The list that you have, Mr. Let, does it show the adjoining landowners?
Doesn't show the adjoining landowner, it has the owner's name. And has, addresses. But they did not provide adjoining landowner.
And we're past the point of them being able to pay taxes and
Recover them,
within a year, right?
yes, sir.
So this would just be,
This is just kind of cleaning up.
I know the treasurer just sent them to the surveyor's office today, so to get their opinion, some may be questionable whether they exist.
There's something to that too. There may be some questions whether these little tracks even exist.
so can we hold off on, telling us?
I kind of mentioned it for y'all to start thinking about it.
Yeah,
I don't think it's time to make the decision.
we'll see what Nate and them come up with over there, Kyle come up with, and we'll,
Do you have an opinion on it, Michelle? Do you proceed with it or?
Yeah, I'm for it if they say they exist. Because I know, I'm sure probably, I know at least 3 or 4 of them have been on there since I've been here. I'm sure they all had to qualify, but yeah, I do recognize.
There's
Most
6
of them.
total properties and the total tax against them for the total of the 6 is $3,871.72. So they're really a minimal value if they do exist.
we'll find out what exists.
That is all I have.
I remember we had to buy just super small pieces of property for, Brickyard Bridge, and we had to pay a pretty good dollar, so.
Yeah, by appraisal, yeah.
All right, that's all you had, huh? Nothing on our bridge?
That's right.
Yeah. Scott, stay on the bridge.
I need to talk to him about it.
There we go.
We sign that one so I don't forget for
Yeah.
the credit card.
You need more than one card in there.
Nah, I think one should be good.
What you got, Michelle?
Hmm, the only other thing I had was, I still have a custodian job posted. I put it in the paper this week to maybe get some other applicants that might not see Indeed. Just wanted to get permission to, if somebody would want to do that part-time in the meantime until we found somebody, or
Oh.
even maybe pay a part-time, somebody who does that.
Janitorial
dog,
services?
yeah.
What about somebody that does the prosecutor's office or the
Yeah.
community corrections or?
Yeah, look into those.
The thing is, though, they do need to be here during our working hours.
That was my next question.
Yeah, I talked to the judge a little bit about that. And I think depending on the person, her person, she would let them in at night, and I didn't know about the other offices.
Hmm.
I don't know.
You mean
She really said,
Mhm. Depending on the person. But she had somebody in mind who does clean for her. So,
Well, let's kick it around and see what we can come up with. See if we can come up with some names, or if anybody comes up.
how many other applicants was there? 3 or 4 originally?
that's all I've seen, and
We've asked for a little more info on one or two, and not really got any response.
so. It's not out of county people, which. I don't know, if we be able to get here during snow, or,
Yeah.
there's just other things. But. No,
I can't think of anybody's. Who's doing it now? Yourselves?
well.
Well, we had
We had
Jim, is he done?
Yeah, he's done now. He did 2 weeks. Friday was his last day. So I came in and did some yesterday, and then I know my office they've been taking out trash. I'm sure other offices have been too, but we're really busy in our office, and I don't know that we're gonna have time to do the bathrooms and, the deeper cleaning that we did the last time.
Plus somebody for me, but
What about our old custodian? You think he'd be interested in doing anything?
I don't know. I can ask. He would fill
Just
in.
till we can find somebody. I mean, we know we don't,
Mhm.
we don't want full-time by any means,
we
but
wouldn't have to train him in. I mean,
Yeah, I can reach out to him and see what he says.
and any other names you can just come up with, anybody, just. Let us know, and see what we come up with pretty quick. I mean. We know it's a hassle for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Who would thought it'd been that hard to find, for us to find somebody to work here? Pretty good job. All right. Did you get that paper
Yeah,
printed off from
yeah.
Adam?
got both of them printed off,
Did Dave need to look at that one?
probably.
When did it have to be turned in by? Did it have a date? I can't remember. I looked at it, but it's been last week.
I don't know what's on the attachment.
It's the only one I seen.
Okay.
I was wondering, would there be any way that, you could take this and look it over?
I got to
I know, but I mean,
compare it to the original.
and if we have to have this signed before our next meeting, could they, if you have no objections to the verbiage or anything, could they make a motion for me to go ahead and meet up with you and sign it?
There could be a motion that this be approved contingent on
Legalities?
me being able to review it, compare it to the original agreement and discuss with IEDC or whoever, so yeah. That would be appropriate.
We just do that just in case it would have to be turned in before our next meeting, if that's all right.
Absolutely.
That motion moves.
Make a motion to tentatively approve it as long as David doesn't have any objections and we can sign it before next meeting.
And if we can wait till next meeting, we'll just wait and you can bring it back to us, but,
Who brought this to you?
Adam Green from the,
Westgate?
yes, Westgate Authority.
Yeah, let me look. I'm totally.
Motion Baron,
Second.
second by Retha, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Bill, what else you got over
This email from, or not the email you. From Michelle Carrico, a grant modification.
there? Oh, yeah. This is on the, library.
Change their project or grant.
Yeah, changing the end date. From February of 25 to February, the end of February of 26. Just,
They got more time.
yeah. So she would just need me to sign this and send it back.
Okay, no motion.
Probably then it's on what, this is the Shoals Library project.
Shoals Library
Because
project.
it doesn't state that anyway.
Okay.
All right. Bill, is there any way you can, email that back to her tomorrow?
Yeah, well,
What you got?
I believe that's all that I remember right now.
I have one other thing.
Yes, David?
Michelle gave me this. Received a notice from the Department of Navy that they're gonna conduct a test on their hazardous waste combustor. And a requirement by the EPA. That test will begin March 3rd and last for 8 days. And test plan is available if anybody wants to review it at the Bedford Public Library. And gives contact persons on base if anybody wants to discuss that with them. So,
Oh,
yes, that must be important.
you said hazardous waste combustor. It sounded pretty important, so.
I seen a toilet this last week that's underground 400 feet that incinerates hazardous waste
Really?
and no water. Never seen anything like it.
Wow.
Well, USG took a tour underneath theirs. Me and Alan Toys. Very interesting.
Yeah. All right. Well, anybody else have anything? Mary?
Yes, speaking of the Shoals Public Library, I'm a member of the Friends of the Shoals Public Library. And we are going to be having a groundbreaking on, I think it's January 30th at noon. So if anybody could, come, we would really appreciate it.
January 30th at noon?
I'm gonna get my phone. 30th. 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 30th Make sure I told you right.
Be a Friday?
Yeah, it's the 31st, sorry, Friday, January 31st. Shovels Library groundbreaking at 12 o'clock.
What the heck here, man?
I know what's going on. I know.
Calendar don't even go past the 26th.
They had to print that extra stuff at the bottom. Maybe there's another January bond, but yeah, sorry, didn't realize.
Yep, Friday the 31st. Okay, noon?
Contractor's gonna have to try to have a piece of equipment up there and, to make it look official.
That's great.
It'd be nice.
If anybody deserves credit, it's Sylvia on that project.
Absolutely. I think they all deserve credit, all of them. I mean, they all worked hard.
Sylvia,
Yep.
Sylvia worked the dogs hard.
Alrighty, well, does anybody else have anything? If not, I got a couple things here real quick. Martin County, Soil and Water Conservation District, we have their annual meeting February 4th at 6 p.m. Dinner will be at 6:30, provided by Carlos Catering. Also, next commissioners meeting will be Tuesday, February 4th, right here at 5:30. Yeah, Mary.
At the last meeting, it was announced that Monty Gregory was going to, have a meeting with RTC, and I think the engineering group was HWC.
Yeah.
So he was here just a few minutes ago and had to leave, and that meeting was on 1/16/25, and I asked him about the results of the meeting, and he said there wasn't really anything. He was just the person that was trying to get them together, and the issue was going to be attaching whatever they had to attach to the bridge.
Mhm.
And it was going to be a lot of money. So he said anybody could call and talk to him about it, if they'd like to, but there was no real decision made about that. So maybe he'll have some.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll announce something about that.
I just think the race is on between the two of them right now, RTC and Orange County. Cause Orange County is coming that way and. But I think the River Bridge is gonna be the big holdup for RTC.
Well, I tell you what, if, I heard that Orange County is gonna go out Mill Road, is that where they're coming from?
Mm-hmm.
Mill Road, and, I know there'd be lots of people, you know, my upload and download speed, you know, it's just like my cell phone. I just watched the little circle spin, so it'd be really great if we could talk to Orange County and, get them to come out our road, because I know there'd be lots of people that would sign up for that. It's either that or the Elon Kool-Aid. Either the Elon Kool-Aid, because it's, maybe we just have no
Yeah.
coverage.
Alright. Well, anybody have anything else?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Make a motion to adjourn.
A second?
Motion by Aaron, second by Retha. All in favor? Aye. Thanks for coming. You gotta jump in there a little more now and then.
For what?
Make a motion.
I'm trying hard to not.
He's quick on it, ain't he?
Just